it's me, but we're not really together because I'm pre-recording this class. There's something going on today and also next Wednesday, next week, Mark will be having a new knee. And so that's where I'll be then. But I want to get a pre-recording for this week as well, as we have another appointment to make. So I am going to introduce a bolster today. If you don't have a bolster, you can use a cushion, you can use a couple of pillows, or you don't have to use one at all. But I just thought maybe with this class, because we do, experiment with different things, that we would go ahead and try that. I'm also going to have this on the wide angle, and I'm going to be tilting it at different places so that you're going to be able to see me. Okay, so again, if you have these props, great. If you don't worry about it. But I wanted to start us out with a little different placement for a beginning kind of restorative relaxation kind of pose. So those of you with blocks and that are going to set up like this, we're going to have one block on the high part and the other block on the low. And then you're going to take, and then for instance, this is one of my cushions from my sofa, right? And I could take that and lay it on there, and that would be just great. A couple of pillows if you have that, or you can just lay down on your back. But the semi-reclined placement is actually just kind of a nice in between from being all the way down on our backs to sitting all the way up. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. Now, if you are doing this, have the base of your spine really up against the base of this cushion. And then another thing to do, if you have a blanket and you don't have to have these fancy dancy, not so fancy Mexican blankets, but any blanket, and maybe just roll it up. And again, this is just a bit of cushioning. And I'm going to put my feet together in that Baddha Konasana. I'm going to take this rolled up blanket over my ankles and shins, and then just wrap around underneath so that when my legs open up, just have that support underneath. So bring in those feet as closer far apart as comfortable for you, making sure that you have your lower spine up against the base of this pillow or cushion. And then with your hands, just begin to walk yourself back, finding that you have your whole spine on this cushion. And the nice thing about this, as opposed to being flat on your back, and again, just making sure that we're protecting and supporting that whole lower lumbar spine on your bolster. But like this, we can open up our shoulders, we can open up our heart, we can release our arms down. If you're flat on your spine, that's fine too, because you're not using the bolster or the blocks. But let's just get into kind of a progressive relaxation here. Close the eyes if you're comfortable with that. And again, thanks for being here. I know when we're not connected live, it may be less motivating for you to come in, but I hope, knowing that I'm taking the time to do this for you guys, that you're able to tune in. And let's go ahead now and tune into our own breath. Keeping the chin slightly tucked so that you have a nice cervical spine. And that breath is totally unimpeded, able to come in and out through your nose and down deep into the belly. No constriction whatsoever. And keep breathing. Feel that breath coming into every pore in your scalp, almost like a little bit of a massage there. Our brain is an oxygen hog and just craves that oxygen. So these deep breaths are giving it the breath that they need, the oxygen that it needs, all those neurons. Feel your scalp kind of tingling. Feel it enriching every hair follicle. As you do, you just kind of begin to relax in through all the facial muscles as well. Taking any furrow out of your brow, flattening your forehead. There's no wrinkles there. Letting your eyes just rest back in the sockets. Releasing any kind of tightness around the eyeballs and those upper cheeks. Sending that relaxation, that flow down through the rest of your facial muscles, especially down into that jaw area. This will assist you to release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Your lips may slightly part. Oxygen feeding down through all the parts of our body, passing through our throat. Feel your clavicle rise and fall with your breath. Your shoulders again pulled back, relaxing down away from your ears. All that relaxation flowing down through your arms into whatever part of your hand or arms connected to the earth, and you feel that weightedness, that support. For me, I have my hands up and I can feel that release there. Prana, life force from my breath into my palms, into every finger. And I follow that breath continually down through my center, through heart. Through all my digestive organs being massaged here with these deep breaths. Into the navel area. That pulses up and relaxes down with every breath. I feel my sacral spine maintaining a lot of my body weight right now. But it feels connected to the earth. It feels supported as well. My legs are open, and that's a nice external release from my hips. Feeling gravity assisting here. I'm feeling that cushion of the blanket underneath, side of my shins and ankles. Soles of my feet are together. Feeling the tingling and the warmth, the oxygen that's flowing there as I continue to breathe in this deep, full belly breath. Checking just my spine, another bit of time here, checking into my chin that it hasn't started to release upward. It's still staying a little bit tucked here. Let's do 2 more big, slow, full belly breaths here. And then if you're laying flat on your back or you're on this incline, or I guess it's a reclining because they're going back. Let's take our arms so that our biceps by our ears, our fingers are pulling and spreading away from the direction of our feet. And we're just opening up the sides of our body here. Feeling length with every breath. Maybe opening fingers wide as we inhale. And then exhaling, just kind of releasing those hands, fingers. One more time here. Open up our fingers, inhale and exhale. Let your arms fall down. Bring them back to the sides of your body, releasing that blanket and taking your hands to the sides of your thighs, letting your knees come up and letting that leg stretch out here. And from here, just a few
kind of pointing through the toes and more, I guess, through the ball of your foot, and then flexing back, kind of a demi point just onto the ball of your foot. Take your arms over time overhead. Stretching again along the floor, along that nice supported cushion bolster. And then my hands come down and I bend into my knees again and just slowly take my body over, rolling onto the side and then beginning to bring my body up using my arms for support. Removing that bolster if you had it there, keeping blocks somewhat close because we're going to be using our practice with those today. And then taking this blanket and unfolding it, or having another blanket around that you can sit upon or sit on your blocks so that you can keep your hips a little bit higher than your knees. And that just assists us with our pelvic girdle, with our sits bones, with our ability to maintain that straight spine a little bit more. And let's go ahead and interlace our fingers, push away, inhale. Exhale, take the hands on down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands come into center. Staying here, let's do a collective Om together. So let's just take a natural inhale and exhale here. And then inhale. Exhale within. And then releasing our hands down to the side, keeping one hand down. You can just mirror me. The other arm comes up. Let's go ahead and come on over to the side. Stretch into that lateral part of your body. Rise up, inhale. Exhale, this hand comes down. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale lift. Exhale down. This time interlace behind you. Squeeze shoulders together. Squeeze and let your heart open. And maybe just move your hands connected just a little bit left and right. Maybe move into the shoulders a little bit. Just see what kind of movement you can find with your hands connected behind you. And then come to stillness, push down, open up. And releasing arms, bring everything up here. Push away. And then take your hands down, take your hands behind your head, elbows pull back. And then let's take another set of our time to one side. Bring ourselves up. Exhale over to the other side. Bring ourselves up. And then release here. And let's just take a little bit of upper body, arm movement, and upper body movement in one little direction. And then let's take it in another. And you should maybe feel yourself adjusting from one sits bone to another. And then hands up. And then behind you one more time. I'm going to keep my right hand, that's this one down. The other one's going to lift and come over to the other elbow. And so my hand will slide down my back just a bit here. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath. And releasing this hand down, coming on over, taking this one out, and really releasing here. Come into that side body and exhale. Just turn my torso towards the ground. Come into a little twist as my shoulder pulls down, and then bringing that shoulder back. And exhale, kind of cupping into myself. And exhale.
And from here, let's just take a few circles in one direction and then reverse and take them in the other. And then take it over. And come on up, both arms, inhale. Exhale, hands come down, interlace in that opposite way. Push down, open up through your chest with the bridge of your nose, rise up. And again, let's just maybe take and twist one shoulder back and then the other, feeling that twist down into our waist. And then coming back here to the center, releasing our arms, hands come up. Take your hands down, place them behind the back of your head again. Rest your head back. And then release the opposite arm to the opposite elbow that we did before. Holding on here for this tricep stretch here. Keeping the sides of our body long, our spine long. Then releasing that top arm, take it down. Come on over, release that top arm over and stretch here. Big inhale. Exhale, kind of curl and turn into a little twist. And then inhale, pulling that shoulder back. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Taking it back one more time here. And from here, let's go ahead and take a few circles. And reverse in the opposite direction. You may want to just stay with your arm over with a nice side stretch there. Let's take our arm back there. And rise up here. And comes down. Let's switch out those legs. Let's take our hands here and just kind of roll in and out. Make some waves with those hands interlaced. And then from here, let's make some circles, one direction with our wrists, and then opposite direction with our wrists. And maybe it's just flowing and push away. Release out, push back, okay? Push back, open up your fingers and push back behind you so you feel engagement in your arms and all the way through your chest. And then release your hands, come forward. Now, we're not gonna quite touch hands, but I want you to feel the energy from one hand to the other. Fingers are open. I want you to feel like you're pushing into your hands, but you're not. Almost like this asymmetric pushing in when there really isn't anything you're pushing except for air. And then open up, come back behind you. Push away, open up that chest. Take your hands and let's bring them forward one more time. Good. Open up. Exhale, hands come down. Let's release those legs so you have a little bend. Your feet are grounded. And let's go ahead and take some windshield wipers. We've had our legs open in that external rotation for a bit there. Let's take them back and forth so they can go in and out of internal and external. And then let's go ahead and come to our hands and knees. So under your knees, you might want that blanket or to be double matted, or some of you have your nice carpet, right? I'm actually triple matted and blanketed just because my knees like that feeling. Have your blocks available because we'll be using those pretty soon. But let's begin here with our cat-cow, but we're gonna do it rocking. Okay, we're going to do it with coordinating our toes and our feet so that we can get into the bottom of our feet. So I'm right here onto the balls of my feet. I look up with the bridge of my nose,
spreading out my sits bones. And then I'm going to come to the tops of my feet, rock back towards my heels, let my chin come towards my chest, release the back of my neck. That will be my exhale. I'll bring myself back up, neutral, tuck the toes, look up with the bridge of my nose, let my tailbone come up, my sits bones expand. And then I come back on an exhale. Tops of my feet, curling, tucking, rounding into myself, coming up, and continue with your breath pace and changing that out in any way, shape, or form that feels best to you. Okay, just kind of adding these little variations here because cat and cow's great. I never get bored with it, but it's always nice to just change things out and see how our bodies react to that. Sometimes our minds don't want to go through those changes because we've done something in a certain way for so long. But it's kind of like that book, Who Moved My Cheese? And I love that book because it really helped me to look at myself and how I react to change and how I can be a little stubborn to change. And then I realized that being that way really was holding me back from opening up myself to new ideas, stifling my own creativity as well. Let's do 2 more here. Use that good breath. Spreading those sits bones wide. Bringing the back together as you come into cat. And then find yourself on hands and knees here. And from here, we're going to take just some little circles with our tailbone, okay? Pretend like you've got some really fancy feathers there on your tailbone, a really fancy tail of a dog, and then reverse those. And you're just kind of fluffing them up. Really good for our pelvic girdle here. And now I'd like you to take a beautiful cursive and spell your name with your pelvis. Remember your dots and first and last name. I have a long last name, lots of A's in between almost every letter. This is a good Irish name that my adopted family gave me, and I'm very proud to maintain. There we go. Then just shake it out a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and bring those blocks close to you. If you don't have them, you don't need them, you can have your hands on the ground. And I'm going to take the blocks onto the highest point. I'm going to take any foot forward, and then I'm going to come up to the ball of the back foot, bring that foot forward, put my blanket away, and just step behind the blocks. And from here, I'm going to exhale down, bend into my knees, let my head come down. And inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend into the knees. Let your heavy head release here. And then come into half lift. Again, hands on shins, feet or blocks. And then from here, bend into your knees. Take your hands to your thighs. And let's do a standing cat-cow. So I'm going to inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then from here, go ahead and bring my body up. And I just need to adjust the camera, the positioning a little bit better here so that we can get me when I'm up and then change it when we come down. So let's go ahead and take a stand, and then we'll start into our 3 waves or flows. Go ahead and separate your legs out just a bit.
Take your hands on your hips, toes are forward, and let's take some hip circles here. Use your breath. Working into the sacral area, the sacred sacral area. Let's go ahead and come around in the other direction. And just breathing here. Good. And then taking your legs about hips distance, raise your arms up, hold on to one wrist and lengthen and bring yourself over to one side. Well, let's let ourselves feel that a bit here. And then rise up, inhale, switch out and come on over. Coming back up. Exhale, hands come down. And then I want you to face your blocks again. I'm just going to change this back another time. And so facing our blocks, I'm going to step this way and you'll be able to see me again very soon. I'm going to raise my arms up, inhale. Take my hands down through heart center. Begin to come forward through my hips, okay? Bend into my knees. Take my hands onto my thighs and then place my hands on the blocks. And I'm going to take my right foot forward on the inside of the block. I'm going to step my other leg back and I'm coming into this high lunge here. I'm going to bend into that back knee, come down. That's an exhale. Bring myself up, inhale. Take myself down. Bring myself up. Exhale down. Again, your hands may be on the ground. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. We're just giving some strengthening to that back leg and we're opening up into that hip flexor. One more time, up and down. And from here, taking those blocks back, we're going to come on to straightening out that front leg. So I'm on the heel of that front leg and your hands again can be on the ground. My toes are pulling back and I'm opening up the back side of that front leg. And then I'm going to go ahead, bend into that knee, get a hip flexor opening on that other leg, and then come back onto the heel, trying to keep my hips forward, pressing forward, heart lifts. Take yourself back, come into the back side of that leg. Bring yourself forward, heart lifts. Exhale back. One more time forward. And then from here, I'm going to take the back leg and bring it behind me. Walk these blocks over in front so that I'm in a bit of a half lunge of sorts. And I'm just going to take myself back and forth here. Okay, so we're getting a little different stretch than we were before. This one isn't so much for the not hamstring, the hip flexor as it is for the groin. And then coming here, let's go ahead and let ourselves sink in here at the base. And then bring myself up. Take my hands off the blocks, arms come out. Take my hand down onto my thigh. The other arm reaches up. Inhale. Exhale, take it over to a little more of an extended side angle there. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it over. Inhale up. And let's take 4 circles going in one direction. Take it with breath. And reverse. And take it over. And then go ahead, take your hands back to the blocks, take them forward and your back leg behind you again so that you're in
the knee down, lunging position here. And then go ahead and bring that front knee back to join the back knee. And from here, let's just go left and right. And again, your hands may be on the ground if you've chosen not to use the blocks, so you don't have blocks, no worries. And then I'm going to take some circles. With my blocks, I'm up higher than I was before. A lot of hip movement today. Let's go around in the opposite way. So at different heights, it's going to affect that pelvic girdle in a little bit different way as well. And then from here, I'm going to step my left foot forward on the inside of that block, stretch out that back leg onto the ball of that back foot. And from here, exhale, my knee comes down. Inhale, I bring it up. Exhale, take it down. Inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and bring those blocks back, and I'm going to extend my front leg out so that it's long. And see how my hip was kind of like this? I'm going to bring it back so that their hips are in alignment. I'm on the heel of that front foot, and I can feel that in my hamstring. Maybe you just want to stay here. If so, please do. And maybe going from pointing to flexing that front foot, or you can go from here and then come forward to get into that other hip flexor there. Bring it back. I inhale here. I exhale here. Maybe you've chosen to do that in the opposite way. If so, good. Just follow your breath with your movement. One more. And then finding yourself back more in a neutral position. And now I'm going to take, and I'm going to switch sides, or else I'm going to have my back to. I'm going to take this leg behind me. I'm going to walk my blocks forward so that I'm in that opposite side lunge there. And I'm just going to go ahead and work into that groin a bit, moving into those hips. And I like having the blocks again because that gives me a little bit more opportunity to move. And I feel really stable in that movement. Don't feel like I'm overtaxing anything there. Exhale and inhale. And exhale. And then bringing myself back, just taking a few little circles here. Reversing the direction. Not sure if we did this on the other side, but this feels good. So go ahead and incorporate it here. And then I'm going to go ahead, take my blocks back, forward, take that back leg behind me. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and bring myself up off of that back knee. I'm going to take that front foot forward and the other foot back behind those blocks, bend into my knees, and then release, legs long, head down. Inhale, straight spine, maybe bending into the knees, just see where your legs are. Exhale, straight legs are a little bit bent. One more time, half lift here. Exhale, take it down. Hands come off blocks to your thighs as we begin to roll up into standing. And here, let's just take some shoulder rolls. I'm going to go ahead and switch this out again. So shoulder rolls, rolling back, because a lot of times we are just constantly forward with our shoulders. So let's just roll several times back, and then maybe just 2 or 3 forward.
Good. And then let's take a couple chair poses here before we do our next series. So I'm going to turn this way, raising my arms up. Exhale down into chair. Maybe you want to take your arms behind you and then rise up. Inhale. Exhale. Hands behind, or you can maintain steadiness with arms forward. See what calls to you in terms of your shoulders. This feels right for me today. And let's do one more. Let's hold our arms up and out and trying to bring our tailbone down a little bit more here. See if we can take some breaths here. Push through your feet, rise up, inhale. And exhale, hands come through heart center. And from here, have your blocks ready again on the sides of your mat. I'm gonna go ahead. And sorry about that. Figure this out one of these times. And then we're going to go ahead, arms up, inhale. Pass through your heart, bend through your knees, hands onto your thighs, hands onto your block, right foot to the inside of that front right block, back foot back, coming into that high lunge. Now, let's take and walk that right foot and right block over a little bit. Maybe the right block just comes off almost off of your mat. You want to have a wider stance. That back foot's going to come down at a 45-degree angle, toes pointing up towards the corner of your mat. And we're going to find ourselves coming off the blocks, maybe to thigh, maybe to hips. Arms rise up into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One here. And from here, we're going to go ahead and take our right arm under our left. Find ourselves in eagle arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. 2 more times. Rising up, inhale. Exhale, take it down. Rise up, inhale. Exhale, take it down. Releasing arms, bring them up, inhale. And from here, come into your cactus arms. Knee is still bent, looking up, and then lengthen that front leg. Arms extend up, that's my inhale. Exhale, bend into that front knee, bend into your cactus arms. 2 more times, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rising. Exhale, coming down. From here, arms rise up and then take them out. We're not changing our feet, okay, but we're looking like we're in Warrior One arms. And so I have a little twist going on here. And then I'm going to come up, inhale, and exhale, taking a look at you. Inhale, rise. Exhale, coming over. 1 more time. Inhale, my shoulders, my hips come forward. Exhale, my shoulders still my shoulders move, but my hips are kind of staying the same. Inhale up. And exhale, taking my hands back onto the blocks, bringing that front foot in a little bit more, coming onto the height of the ball of that back foot, and then knee drops, front knee comes back, and toes in, toes in, knees out, sliding forward into Peaceful Warrior, and taking my hips left and right. And then bringing myself up into all fours and finding that rocking cat-cow again. Remember that. Inhale onto the balls of your feet. Exhale, flat feet, flat on the top of the feet. Into cat, into cow, into cat. 1 more time. And then on to all fours. Let's go ahead and work those blocks in front of us again. And if you don't have the blocks, you don't have to. I just think it's nice for us to have this little bit of difference going on here. Go ahead and bring your left foot into the inside of that left block and rise off of the right knee. Take that front foot over towards the side of your mat, the block as well. And that back foot, maybe that comes out a little bit wider, and place the heel down and the toes coming up towards the front of that side of your mat. Okay, and from here, we're going to take our hands to our thigh, maybe onto our hips. Find those hips moving forward. Find your arms lifting up, lengthening the side body. Finding this beautiful expression of warrior one. Pressing evenly into our feet, finding shoulders forward, hips almost all the way forward. And then I'm going to take my arms down. My left comes under my right, right? And here I am. Inhale. Pull down, exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. 2 more. Kind of a cat, cow, eagle. Nice combination. And then find yourself back into neutral. Releasing your arms, they come up. Inhale. Bring yourself into cactus arms. Knee is bent in the front. And now we're going to lengthen leg, lengthen arm. Inhale. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Cactus arms, bend it to that knee. 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rising. Exhale. Coming down. Keeping that front knee bent. Arms come up. Warrior one. From here, lift the arms a little bit higher. Knee stays bent. And then exhale. Just open those arms towards me. Good. Inhale. Shoulders turn back forward. Exhale. Upper body twists a bit towards you towards me. And then we move back forward 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Arms rise up. Your shoulders and your hips mostly move forward here. Lengthen. And exhale. Hands come onto the block. Come onto the ball of that back foot. And then release your knee down. Front knee comes back. Find yourself in a peaceful warrior here. Exhale. Take your head to the ground. And then lift yourself up. Bring yourself out of peaceful warrior. Toes up, hips down, hanging cobra. Let's do that 7 more times. Exhale back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale back. And 2 more. So as I love this, you guys might not. So please hang out in peaceful warrior or cat cow or anything that feels good to you right now. And then bringing ourselves up, hands and knees. We're going to use a block between our thighs, okay? And this is just really good for the adductors. It's really good for our pelvic floor as well. So from here, we're going to take our hands a little bit forward and we're going to tuck our toes and lift into down dog. Straight spine's more important than straight legs. And then high in the balls of your feet. Come on back down. Inhale, lift, lengthen, exhale. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen. High on the balls of your feet. Exhale down. Taking yourself back. Bring yourself up and release your knees down. And then from here, go ahead and remove that block and keep it close by because we'll be using it some more. And let's come on down with our knees bent and our heels close, but not touching, obviously. Yeah, it's hard to touch them in, but have them close so that you can have this nice bend and you can feel comfortable letting yourself come down to the ground. So whatever that is for you, bringing yourself down so that your spine is flat on the ground. Your knees are bent. And we're going to switch that out here in just a bit. But for now, get used to having, and just notice what part of your spine is naturally coming in contact with your mat. Notice how your neck is lying, how your chin is. Is it up? Is it midway? Is it tucking? What feels best? For me, I like to have my chin in a little bit more so I can really know that I'm having some good length on that cervical spine. I'm going to take this block and I'm going to support myself under my sacral area. You don't have a block, don't worry about it. It's just another way to kind of feel a little bit of restoration as I work my knees towards one another and my feet to the edges of my mat, sides of my mat. Chin is really staying tucked. Even though there's weight on that sacrum on the block, it just feels a little bit of relief as we have this incline going on here. Beginning of class, we started with a reclining of the upper body, right? In the Baddha Konasana, soles of our feet together. Here we have our knees together, and we've got that incline going in our thighs. And we have our back straight on the mat. Let's just take a few breaths here. And then go ahead and lift, take your knees apart and lift your hips if you had that block underneath. And then come on back down, come over to your side and begin to bring your body up. Let's do a little bit of hip opening and then we'll come into another way of reclining with that bolster. And again, no bolster, no worries. If you have a cushion or pillows, we can work with that. If not, don't worry about it. So let's go ahead from here. We're going to take our ankle and place it on our knee or right behind our knee. I'm taking my hands behind me. I'm going to work in that foot that's grounded up a little bit closer to my hip. Okay, flexing through my foot. That may be enough. This is a lot like if we were on our backs in figure 4, right? And I'm just going to take and shift my knees left and right a bit here. Pushing down into my hands, lifting through my heart a bit more, trying to find a little more closeness of my upper body to those thighs that are close by. I'm going to feel that as well. And I'm going to come over and let it fall over to one side as much as it will, keeping my feet flexed, my hands still behind me, lifting up here. And then letting my knees come over in the other direction. So I'm getting some internal rotation going on here. Bringing them up one more time each side. Exhale to one side. Bring it on up. Exhale to the other side. and bring it on up. And then go ahead and release that foot down. Take the other one up, and you might have to start with the leg a little bit longer, that lower leg a little bit, have more length in it than bend. And then work into that bend to the place that feels right for you. And many of us might be way here because we're already feeling that. All right, let's work with where our bodies are. It's so important. And I'm just kind of lifting up my hips here to resituate myself. And I'm keeping my foot flexed. And I'm just going to go ahead and weave myself a little bit to the left and to the right. And maybe taking my hands a little bit closer in, getting my torso pinned up against my thighs more, staying exactly right here, if that's enough, or taking my legs all the way over. Finding that external on the lower and the internal on the upper. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, come on over. Take a breath or two here. And then bring yourself up. Take yourself over. Inhale, lift. And exhale over. Rising up, inhale. Releasing that leg down. And this is a great place to do some windshield wipers. We did that at the beginning a bit. Let's do it again. Kind of doing that, but before we had that figure 4, a little less freedom than we have right now. And now we're going to go ahead into a resting pose for the end. And again, I want to just show you these things. If you don't have this equipment available today, it might be something you want to try later on. And so now I'm going to stack low and medium, all right? And the low part is going to be on the side that I'm going to be resting on that side of my body. So I'm going to be in a side lying position, and the lowest block is going to be towards my head. And I'm going to go ahead and place the bolster on top of there. And this is really good. If you sleep on your side a lot and you start to feel there's a lot of pain in that hip joint, this will help relieve some of that. So I happen to be on my right side. I'm going to slide my right arm out. I'm going to have something to cozy my head. And my right arm's going to slide out. I'm on the right side. I'm going to bend that upper leg. That's my left leg. And I'm going to place it on that bolster, knee down, ankle up. And that bottom leg, I'm going to straighten, but I'm going to pull it back a bit so that my belly can pull forward some, all right? So that I don't have all hip on top of the other hip weight. It's a little bit of a twist there. And I'm going to take my head down onto a block, a pillow, a blanket. Idea is to keep that neck from, you know what that means, from being out of alignment and not being comfortable, okay? Trying to find places for you all to find comfort. So figure what that is for you. And maybe if you don't have these materials, you're just taking a nice side-lying fetal position pose here at the end. But again, always making sure that you're keeping that neck in nice alignment. Finding your breath. Let's take a little pranayama breath exercise here at the end. We're going to inhale at 3 levels from belly into our ribs, into our chest. And then the exhale will be 1 fluid breath out. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. 1, 2, rising up. 3, all the way up. 4, exhale all the way up. Follow your breath. Follow those levels. Follow your counts. all kinds of breath work, all kinds of prana. Excitement, prana, creativity, prana exercises, all of which are to help us carry that oxygen to our bodies so that our bodies can find calm, fluidity. Openness, relaxation. And then just come into a couple of your normal breaths at the end here. And then opening your eyes if they're closed and taking that top leg down. If you lowered, had it up on the bolster, rising up with your hands, finding yourself seated on a bolster is really nice. On a block is really nice. On a blanket is really nice. Any place that you may be able to raise those hips up higher than your knees. And let's just find ourselves here, taking hands at heart center. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I missed you in a live, virtual live way, but I hope you enjoyed the practice and doing something a little bit different and remembering that book, Who Moved My Cheese, in case something we did different was just a little bit like, oh, why is she changing? What is she doing? And it's okay. That's what life is about, is to be open to some of these changes and explore. All right. So thank you for being with me. And from my heart to yours, I miss you guys. I love you guys. You mean a lot to me. Namaste. Take care and see you